How do you remember your poverty? I mean, like what kind of things you guys went through?
Well,
Yes,
we got you.
talk about
Listen,
it. I mean,
we've
what
been
do you eat?
through.
Well, no, you know, I want to look after ourselves. I mean, what? Give us some
I,
examples.
I mean, I remember going back to the days where we used to use salt and brush your teeth with salt and
Couldn't afford the toothpaste.
Sometimes toothpaste is a little bit too much. You know, you have to use the money to the other
Other
things.
things, yeah.
And I remember, I mean, when we're out of soap, we use fab, the soap powder,
Fab, yeah.
and make a lather with the rag,
Yes.
and that was our bath. You know, I mean, but it wasn't. Anything, we weren't ashamed of it. It was something that we just had to do. At the end of the day, we still hygienic.
We have to tell them. I remember for Christmas we actually eat turned cornmeal.
For Christmas dinner?
For Christmas dinner. Turned
That's one time even the poor would have something
The
good to
thing is,
eat.
right? The thing is, in the Christmas season, that would be the time for work,
Was big-
right?
big
So
period
it
for
was
you, yeah,
the Christmas market.
Yeah.
I know that's when them have to get them eat them food.
Yeah.
So my mom was never. I mean, she was on the road 24/7. My
Yes,
dad
at
was
that
a police, and police had to be out there. So
Yes.
we were staying by our grandmother
Grandmother.
raised us. We were raised by our grandmother as well, and with the other cousins. I mean, there was a lot of us in the house, and I remember that same Christmas where there was just no food, like there was nothing there to eat. And but I had a grandmother. I mean, she was determined not to let us go to bed hungry. So she said, "Boy, she might not go to bed hungry today." And I said, "Okay." And then she went and she turned cornmeal
Cornmeal, yes.
and put salt in it, and there was some gravy in the fridge, and that was our
Yes.
meal. And then I remember Oshie in here crying, saying, "You know, Mom, me no want that. Me want food, a dog food. That me no want a dog food."
Oh, you have the bigger one at the street.
Yes, and then he has a bigger one as usual. People like, "Oshie, eat it and stop it. Eat it.
Yes.
You know, eat it. It will be better one day. Just you can't go to bed hungry."
On which primary school you guys went to?
Went to Armsville Primary.
Armsville. What was that like?
Armsville Hall Primary. It's now Holy Rose Primary. It's on Victoria. It's the same area. The primary school was a
crowded
big,
primary
yes,
school.
it was like a hall. It was just a big
it
hall.
was one hall?
One
big
hall,
hall,
and
one
the
big hall.
classes were separated by chalkboards.
Oh.
Right? So every class from grade 1 to grade 6 used to be
same-
there.
in that
And
same
then
hall.
in that class, it was overcrowded to the
Overcrowded.
point where one bench, I remember one bench that's supposed to hold 2 kids. I mean, it was like 4 of us on the
Yeah.
bench. So
But you guys passed for Campion. Both you went to Campion.
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
One of the
Yes,
top
we
high
did.
schools in Jamaica. So
Yeah.
how did you navigate now that whole the whole clash or exposure to social stratification? The uptown guys who are not just being dropped off in SUVs, but some of them driving their own vehicles to school.
Well, for
How was
me,
that?
for me, I felt intimidated.
You felt
and
intimidated?
very, very intimidated, and like I just, it was just difficult for me to actually
adjust.
But my brother, he was there from, he's
He went
older.
before you?
Yeah, he went before me.
Right,
So he,
I went before, and I was the first person from Armsby Hall to pass for that school.
Okay, to
So that
Campion?
was what put Armsby Hall on the map to say, hey, you know what, we can go
Produce
there
somebody
too.
who went to Campion. Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
But would you guys feel a bit ashamed, a kind of inferiority complex sometimes when they're on them guys, the uptown guys, at Campion?
okay, yes.
yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. You felt really awkward, eh?
Yes, we did.
Just in our time when we went to Campion, I mean, the bus for people who take the bus, it was like about 5 of us. So nowadays when I see a lot of Campionites at the bus stop, I'm like, wow,
Yeah, poor
it's a
people.
big
Change.
change.
They just do it, but in your days,
Big change.
Nowadays,
only
it
a
was
few
just-
people taking the
Only
bus.
like about
Everybody-
I knew all the bus stickers.
You serious? In the one school.
And then
You guys really stand out.
yeah, I remember in the whole social thing in
Yeah.
the first year of school where my father had to drive the old police van. I mean, when you're driving a them van, you have to hold the door. Cause you don't want to jump out, you hold the door and hold and say, Lord, please don't me jump. And then you hear the van from like a mile
embarrassed.
before.
Yeah.
So I remember, it was so embarrassing. I mean, the social thing was getting to me. He came from me one evening, and you could hear the van, and then I was with all the friends, and you can't. So I was like, no, me never going in the van. So we watched when the van come.
Yeah.
But I just when
don't
I
go
say
out.
take on myself, I go hide, I hid in behind the tree and watch and waited. He waited there for like an hour and a half. I waited
friends
till
say walk
almost
off.
till everybody gone. Then I went to him. But of course, I got a whooping for it. But I was like, I'll rather take the whooping. But me now, nobody see me. I'm going on the van there.
When downtown meets uptown, boys from Raytown are talking just now about their experiences at Campion, where they would go on to the University of the West Indies, and in the case of one, University of Liverpool. Both of them now are doing well in their professions. They tell us more when we come back from our first break on Profile. Others from Raytown. Both of them now doctors, one a medical doctor, the other one a PhD in earth science, doing important work at the University of Liverpool. You'll tell us about the path-breaking work that he's doing there. Inner city boys of high accomplishment. They're telling us how they did it. But the adjustment at Campion was something else. You have a story, O'Shane, to tell about the Campion experience.
Well, I must say, we used to get, we are the poor ones. We used to get lunch tickets. I think the value at the time was maybe between $100 and $150. And we felt very intimidated to actually use these tickets.
Yes.
So like when we're in the lunch line, we either go before any line or in the queue form, or wait until everybody go through the canteen and we go afterwards to actually show the ticket.
Yeah, show the
ticket. Yeah, we used to just go and just show the ticket, like, go to the counter and just
And kind of get like a wink. And the good things that were made good rapport with the canteen people. So they know us and they liked our energy. I don't know. So people always gravitate towards us. So that kind of helped.
But your father at home was instilling in you a sense of self-esteem, a sense that you shouldn't be worried about where you're coming from. Your father was drilling that in you.
My dad, I remember even before we went to high school, I think my mom was having the last one or the second to last child. And she was having that child at university. My dad drove with me to university, and then we drove through the campus. And he said, Shumari, you see them people under the tree and study, you go to say, because me never get that chance, so you better reach there, And so he would always
He had high expectations for you.
Yes, he would always say, it don't matter where you're coming from in life, but it's where you're going that counts.
That's what he was saying to you.
Shumari, it don't matter where you come from.
What was your relationship with him or she,
Well, my relationship is a
Stormy.
bittersweet relationship, because I used to always I want my own way, I want to do my own stuff. But with him around, because we always clash, because anytime I talk to him, I always say, report. That's why I must want a school report. That's all I'm interested in. And I remember one time I spied him and I said, no, I'm not going to show him no report, And then, him start, I remember he gave me we call it a good slap, And from that, still remember it, and it it taught me a lesson. I was mad at first, very mad.
But you had a tendency toward waywardness.
Yeah,
probably if you were left on your own, you probably
I wouldn't be right here.
You know
I
that.
wouldn't be right here sharing this story.
Right.
If
So
I was
you owe a
left
lot
by
to your
my
father.
own, I owe that to him. If I was left by myself, I'll be just doing my own
You didn't have
thing.
the natural motivation. Perhaps
No.
Shamari was more naturally
Yeah, he was naturally
motivated.
I was the one that was
self-motivated.
self-motivated. I was the one that always knew what I wanted.
Yes.
And I was the one that actually, I used to beat him and tell him to do the
work.
book.
You have
I
to
used
push him
I used to
to do
push
his
him.
work, yes.
And now look at it. Him
big
was
earth scientist
him
now.
shine brighter than me now,
Abroad, yes,
By the back
yes,
seat.
So
He's
you
a good
guys-
investment.
you-
I'm there smiling. I'm behind him smiling. Go ahead.
So you guys can talk about the importance of parental discipline, parental guidance. See?
Very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
Our parents were, it's really good
Important.
to have strong parental background. And even
Especially
grandparents as
grandparents.
well. My grandmother, she was a caretaker at the St. Michael's Church.
Okay.
And I remember
Clean the floor and all.
Oh yes, yes. So at church, we used to. Everybody had their duty. Like I had to pick up from row 1 to row 50 all the paper on every Saturday. That was my Saturday duty. In the mornings before I go Campion, Yes, I used to have to tie the goat because she had some goats. She was raising, so I used to tie
you
the
have to work
goats
before you go
early.
camping in the morning?
So my day start from 4:30. Tie up the goat, get help her to, because she was also the caretaker for the school as well. So help her to open the gates, to transport the nutri-bun and the school milk.
So you did all that before you went to camp?
All of that
camping?
before school, and then come back to give the goat water to do chores as well. And you know, the church work was there. So I mean, I remember she went. I needed some books for CXC, and at the time Woolworth in King Street,
Yes.
the lady she went down there, used her last savings, and bought every book on the list.
Yes.
And walk with, because you know those women, they walk with the book on the head.
On the head.
From Woolworth down all the way to Raytown, and carry the book and say, Shumari, you're turn doctor, you know. But they tell me, no, because you're turn doctor, you know. You're turn doctor. You have to turn doctor. So the book them, anything you want. Don't beg nobody out the road.
Yes.
Just come to me, anything you want.
So you had people around you who believed in you.
Yes.
But when you guys left Campion, did well at Campion, why did you have money for going to university?
Well, that's where student loan come here. I forgive
We're
student
grateful
loan.
for student loan.
If it was for student loan, we
Lifeline.
wouldn't write us, you know.
Student Loan Bureau, SLB, that's the best thing that I mean, because
People talk about the higher rates, but
no
you
man,
wouldn't
the
have
rates was always
access at
high.
all. Without
If it
SLB,
wasn't student loan, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I was on my way to joining to go into the police force.
Like your father.
Just like my father, because that was the only way
Yes.
out. And I was the eldest to
student
get
loan.
to produce. So
I will
student
put paying
loan.
back with the money though. Yeah?
Yes.
Well,
so
let me say this. Well, we make sure as soon as we finish, that was the first priority, is to make sure to pay
Pay
back
back.
student
Very
loans.
So you can
we
help
pay back
others.
everything. Well, we help each other to pay our
Very
loans. So
good.
everything is cleared off.
You cleared off. You
Cleared
made
off.
that a
Right.
priority.
That was a
Pay back.
priority to pay back
Right,
student
so
But you're really
everybody out
grateful to
there,
students'
very,
loan.
very
Sure,
Yes.
student loan, please pay back your student loan because it helps. That's the only way out. Because the university is not for, you have to face it, the university is not for poor. It's a business, you know, and these people want, they have to pay the bills, they have to pay the staff. It's a business. We just they just try to facilitate us.
So, but students don't pay for tuition. You still had other expenses. So even when you guys were going to university, things were still rough. Talk about those
Well,
days.
let me start first. Well, for me, I was
you
in
there, Trinidad?
Trinidad.
Yeah.
So I remember
You're
going
not
to
even there
Trinidad.
yard.
And I couldn't cook. You know, like, I leave Jamaica when I was 17 and I couldn't cook. So I remember my mom, she gave me one bag of bulla, and a bag of bun.
So you go to Trinidad with it.
I'm going to Trinidad with, and that lasted me for 2 weeks. And when we finish, when it almost finished, I said, but couldn't afford KFC, but couldn't afford the Subway or anything. So I have to do like, I meet up with a few of people I used to live in Canada Hall. So that was, you know, that place had good relationships where you meet people. It's just a hall full of guys that will come together, and like we believe that a chain is as strong as its weakest link.
So you learn to cook there.
We learned to cook right there, and
Start a hustling.
start to hustle. And at one point, I used to cook and sell food there as well.
See what I mean?
So
When trouble take your picnic shot, fit you. The guys from Raytown are telling their stories as to how they have been pursuing their dreams. We take our final break on Profile. Tell their story. Your father developed cancer.
Right. When I was in, I think the end of third year, he was diagnosed with lung cancer. Right. We had
Hard for poor
it
people
was
to go through.
Listen, no,
Pay for chemotherapy.
sickness is rough, and especially when you're poor, the worst. Because I mean, his radiation alone was 1.1 million, and his chemotherapy at the time was 33,000. I remember, because I was the one that had to get the money, and to 33,000 every week. For like every week, and that I got like for a 6-week course, 6 weeks. So I mean, if he had a sister in the States and him left, and so all them savings, all him insurance, everything got to zero.
And you were at university at the time?
I was at university at the time. So during that time, gone back again to so I mean, like cabbage and rice and tin. Oh God, tin food was priceless.
Yes.
Priceless.
Yes.
You know, but